A new bill introduced in March 2026 could send $2,000 tariff dividend checks to families hit hardest by rising import costs.
Yep.
Both Democrats and Republicans now back tariff rebate programs, signaling bipartisan support that makes these checks more likely than ever. Economists warn tariffs have pushed prices up by 10% on everyday goods, meaning your grocery bills and rent costs have already increased significantly. Senator Martin Heinrich from New Mexico is leading the charge with the Tariff Refunds for Working Families Act, aiming to return money directly to your savings. Here is where it gets interesting if the Tariff Refunds for Working Families Act passes. They expect a direct boost of up to $1,500 per household in 2026. Economist Brett House from the University of Chicago says bipartisan support is likely, making this rebate a real possibility for your 2026 tax return. Financial analyst Stephen Cates warns that while tariff dividends seem promising, delays and legal hurdles could push your rebate checks into late 2026 or beyond. The latest bill proposes a direct $1,200 tax rebate for families hit hardest by tariffs, aiming to return money straight to your pocket by the end of 2026. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada supports this new rebate plan, emphasizing relief for middle-class families struggling with rising import costs. Meanwhile, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce warns this rebate could disrupt trade relations and increase prices on consumer goods, affecting your everyday purchases. Here's where it gets interesting. If tariffs lead to higher prices, your grocery bill could rise by $300 annually, but the rebate aims to offset that exact amount. Keep an eye on Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, whose department will manage these rebates and influence how quickly your savings see relief. Senator Elizabeth Warren is now pushing for a tariff rebate program that targets middle-class families, aiming to return nearly $1,500 per household starting this tax year. But here is where it gets interesting. Major retailers like Walmart and Target have started lobbying against these rebates, fearing it could disrupt supply chains and increase prices further. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell commented that tariff rebates could influence inflation expectations, potentially affecting your mortgage rates and credit card interest in 2026. Meanwhile, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy warned that tariff rebate uncertainty might delay new investments, which could slow job growth and impact your paycheck stability this year. To protect your wallet, watch for the bill's progress closely and prepare for possible price shifts in everyday goods like electronics and clothing by mid-2026. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont criticized the bill, saying it doesn't address the root cause of rising prices, leaving your rent and grocery bills vulnerable. Meanwhile, Walmart CEO Doug McMillon warned that if tariffs persist, your family could pay an extra $300 annually on everyday goods like food and clothing. Here's where it gets interesting. If tariff refunds pass, major shipping ports like Los Angeles could see a surge in imports, affecting your product availability and prices. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller recently stated tariffs complicate inflation control, meaning your mortgage rates could stay elevated longer than expected. And the deadline to watch is June 30th, 2026, when Congress must decide on funding this rebate program or risk leaving your wallet exposed to higher costs. The Treasury Department now estimates tariff revenues could hit $45 billion this fiscal year, making a $1,200 rebate per household more feasible than ever before. Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary, recently warned that while rebate checks sound good, they risk fueling inflation, which could cost your household hundreds more in living expenses. Here's where it gets interesting. If inflation rises, your grocery bill alone could increase by $500 annually, wiping out much of the $1,200 rebates benefit. But to raise a way to protect your wallet, prioritize paying down high interest debt now, since rising inflation usually leads to higher interest rates on credit cards and loans. Watch closely for the bill's progress by July 15th, because that's when lawmakers plan to vote, and your next tax refund could depend on it. The Congressional Budget Office now estimates tariff refunds could reduce government revenue by $15 billion this fiscal year, meaning your taxes might adjust to cover this gap. This is the part that should worry you. If refunds increase, inflation could tick up again, pushing grocery bills and gas prices higher by at least 3% over the next 6 months. If this saved you even one bad financial decision, hit subscribe. Your future self will thank you. Drop a comment. What's your biggest money worry right now?